Welcome back, everybody, to Barely Running Customs. On the episode, we're going to be making the engine run and cleaning up this paint. So I've got it sat for about a week with all of that WD-40 in the cylinders. I spun it over slowly first, blow it all out slowly, and just kind of pour out of the cylinder instead of blowing everywhere, because you could see some of the mess from whenever I turned it over with the starter. Got it to spin over, spun it over quite a bit, got all that stuff out of there. I had Shy, my wife, make sure that it built oil pressure, and it did. So that's great, love that. I think the water pump's locked up, because when I rotate the crank, the belts turn with the crank, but they're just, or the belts don't spin on the crank. The crank spins, but no, the belts don't rotate anything else. So I'm thinking that water pump's locked up, because I put a ratchet on the alternator, and the alternator seemed to spin, and I'm about to get a wrench on that water pump bolt, see if the water pump will turn, but I think that's what's locked up. Could be wrong, I haven't touched it yet. But back here, I just, for shits and giggles, I washed the crap off of it, and you can't really see it super well, but it is a different color than the rest of this because it's got all that faded crap on it. But it does kind of look more like that now. So this paint should clean up really good. I really hope so. We're gonna check the brake reservoir. It had fluid in the back, but not the front. So that likely means that there's a front leak, because brake fluid doesn't evaporate. So must be a leak, or I don't know. But I've refilled it. Brake pedal feels good. I got all the spark plug wires reattached. This one, the rubber shrunk, and it's about hard as a rock now. So I'm gonna see if I can't find another spark plug for that, because it won't seat down onto the post that it needs to be on. That's maybe I have another one somewhere around here, but we are gonna go with that, and we'll see if she'll bark off for us. I'll put some gas down the yap and see if she sparks. But yeah, let's see how this video goes. Things have escalated extremely quickly. Something's wrong. There's a few missing components here. Freaking water pump's locked up. It's locked up tight. Look at that, it wasn't even gonna flow any water. It's full of crap in it, which is even better, because you know what? The block's full of it too. That's not supposed to be like that. So now I get to spend the fun part of the next 3 hours as well unblocking all of these. It probably took me 2 hours to get this whole front accessories off. I had to cut the bracket because this bolt seized. This one almost snapped. This one did snap. And yeah, freaking the AC compressor on this thing weighs about 700 pounds. Glorified boat anchor right there. Put that sucker on the Embra and you'll be just fine. Good Lord. So, new water pump, new lightning hoses, the old spark plugs because they're bad. But yeah, so it's a lot of fun. This stuff's so thick I can't even hardly cut through it. This one I just barely broke through. I have to flush this cooling. I managed to break through it, and it's so bad that the coolant came rushing out as soon as I was able to unblock it. This is the exact reason I don't buy Fords. Why is there 42 bolts on it? And then on top of that, why do I have to take this absolute compressor off to get to it? I'm sweating doing this. That's how bad this is. And this is just horrendous. If the car had ran and I freed up that water pump, it would have absolutely just overheated like no other. Well, I will finish scraping this away, and then we'll get back to it and see if we can't make this thing run tonight. This would be why the water pump didn't turn. This bad boy is frozen with just the goopiest crap I've ever seen. Look at this. It's like, it's so bad. It's darker than my soul. Good Lord. Yeah, if this thing ever turned, it'd have just exploded on impact. Oh my God, I gotta clean this up. This has got to go on the back of the new one because it's a separator. It goes right there and separates the two from, helps keep things doing whatever they're doing. You know, Ford instead of by Chevys. This is what I'm never owning another Ford again. This has ruined it for me. Look at this Chevy. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. Look at that. It's so simple. It just comes right off. Boop, done. Ford, you gotta have a bastard's degree in brain surgery to get this darn thing off. Alright, so here we are. I got my separator plate all cleaned up, wire wheel and everything. So what I like to do with these, especially since, see how scaly this is? It's awful. What I like to do is I find, that's how it goes on there, yep. RTV. Take this, do is you just glob it on there. There. Now what we'll do with this is work it in. Coat everywhere the gasket's going to be. So this will help fill in all of that porosity from the corrosion. Just work it in there real nice and good. Don't mind me just playing in gasket material. Coat that all pretty good. Then, that's all over my hands. Take your gasket, line it up on there, press it into the RTV. Voila. Just like that. And it's held on there, so when you go to put it in the car, it sticks to this. You don't have to worry about all that. Because, you know, Ford and their ingenious ways, they have 2 gaskets on one piece for some unknown reason. I don't even know if God would know that answer. Just same thing all over this side. Just like that. You have to clean off your cap before you put it back on, otherwise it gets all goopy and stuck, and then you gotta dig it out. Goodness gracious. There we go. Alright, we're just gonna do the same thing all over again, except on this side. Just work it in. Now that it's all over your fingers, wipe it on your work pants. And, Lord, find the orientation of the gasket, plop it on. I don't know which gasket goes where. Don't do anything I'm doing. I'm not a professional. I am a YouTube certified mechanic. Everything I do I've learned from YouTube, or I've done it myself and just learned that way. So, ta-da. That is one prepared divider plate. Alright, so here we are. I got it all put together for the most part. I can't get the accessories put on yet because I'm missing a radiator hose, because the new one, like all Ford parts, nothing's the same. The outlet for the water to go into the hose is pointed down instead of up, so the hose doesn't work. Can't make that work. So got new plug wires and stuff on, all that jiggle-majoo. Got some gas in it, the old carburetor, to see what it see if it does anything for us. It'll do nothing for us. What's going on here? Look at that! It runs! Woo! Let's do that again. Our accelerator pump's locked up. There we go, it's doing a little something there. Alright, let's rip a gas bottle out. There it is. Let's feed her a little more gas, see what she does. I'm sure this carburetor's full of junk. So can't get this fucker to bark off for us. It's a 460, so it takes a lot of fuel. Woo! Yes! That sounds so good. Oh, this is making me happy. Something's up with it. It's not happy. This carburetor needs a rebuild, I'll tell you that much. That's good enough for me, you know what I mean? Woo! Okay. So today we're working on brakes because this one doesn't feel right. It takes a lot of effort in there. So I'm guessing something rotted and broke in there. Big old drum brake, and they're seized on there because they've been on for so long. I can't get them to come off. So I'm gonna be working on those, and then later on I'm gonna go to the parts store, grab a new radiator hose if the one I have doesn't work, and then get all the accessorized back on. I freed up the accelerator pump on the carburetor, this right here. Now it actually works and does something. But yeah, I'm gonna, the fun part is this thing runs high octane fuel. It needs that high octane stuff. Because you know, it was made back whenever they put lead in gas, back when America was a better place. But I digress. So there's that, and then hopefully I'm gonna have the old lady help me bleed the brakes, try to bring those back around, and then we'll see if it'll pull out on its own. I can wash up the paint, and I can start buffing, make it look pretty again. When I ran it the other day, you know, last night, the old headlight covers decided to come down, which is pretty cool. So a little trick I used to get these seized drum brakes off is, it's such a tight tolerance right there. I just take the drill with the wire brush on it, run it around it, kind of just clean it up best I can. Get it all nice in there. And then take a little penetrating lubricant. Just soak her up. Gotta get it inside the bolt hole so I can get behind there. Just like that. Then take a mallet. Just like that. Smack her around a couple times and then slowly wiggle it. And look at that, we're already closer to coming off now. Just like that, that's the little trick I use for it. Alright, it's all back together. Except minus the AC compressor, because I'm not putting that back on. I don't care to do all that again. That was a fight for my life. I'm not doing it. So then I just put it in the trunk, all the brackets, next person can deal with it. I got the clutch fan in, that was not fun. So this new water pump, it's longer, farther out than the old one. So not only does this have to change the radiator hose to the one that I had, actually I found it in the back of the car, so easy fix. It already had the problem solver right there. But because it's longer, it offset these pulleys. So originally it would have had 2 on the alternator, water pump and crank, whereas now I can only get the back one on. And then on top of that, it put the fan basically into the radiator. So I had to, don't ever do this, this is awful, don't do it, but I had to bend the blades on the fan out a little bit so that they wouldn't be smacking the radiator. And it's all in, everything's in, it's copacetic. Spun it over a few times so make sure it didn't hit nothing. Now I gotta put my new heater hoses on because they were rotted and one was missing. Put those on, find some antifreeze around here somewhere, put it in here and hope this doesn't leak, because I broke one of the bolts off, the bolt that goes right there. That one broke off. So what I had to do is I just gooped it up pretty good and over torqued the shit out of these other bolts that mount around it. So to make that work, I got a new V-belt on there. And by new, I mean it wasn't on this car. It's still ancient. It's a BF Goodrich Super V-belt. But should work just fine. I'm gonna get those radiator hoses on, run to the store, get some gas station, grab some of that high octane, put it in the tank, get it to run, see if I can't get the windshield wipers to shut off, because they're just permanently on because they're run by the power steering pump, which I have no idea how it works. It makes no sense to me because there's no pulley for it. So I don't understand that in the slightest, but it is what it is. So get those to shut off, read the oil pressure, make sure it's charging, because if it isn't, that's the next person's problem, because those bolts are going to break off to take the alternator off. They are so in there that I snapped the one, yeah, it's this one, it bolts right there, so I couldn't re-bolt it on because new water pump's different. So it's got this one, and this one is, it's bad. It's on the verge of rounding itself, so rounding and breaking. So that's the next person's problem. Let's just hope it charges. And then I need to figure out why the key doesn't start it, because on these Fords, the steel me junction, all you need to do is this, and you just jump it to that, and then you tap these two together, and voila, your car starts. But this is the start signal wire, and it's not doing anything, so the key doesn't turn it on. I hear clicking under the dashboard, but I'll have to get in there and figure out why it's not telling it to start. But other than that, just cruising along, getting stuff done. Here we are back. The brakes are bled. Heck yeah. Thanks to the old lady right there. She helped me. The fronts were fine. They bled really quickly. I did the improper thing because, you know, they're either going to work or they don't. So I opened up all the bleeders and I just mashed the pedal a couple times till I saw fluid come out of all of them. Front two bled like it was their job. It was easy. Done. And then the back passenger bled just by having the bleeder open. I could see juice coming out of it, so it's good. This one gave us a little trouble. I had to have Shy help me with that one. But it's bled. They all work. They all move. They're doing their thing. It's not much more I can ask for. I need to actually loosen this one because it looks like it's coming out too far around the edges. So I'm going to need to loosen that up. And you do that with your little set screw right here. It's called self-adjusting brakes. They don't self-adjust. So you got to do it yourself. It's not too hard. Just take a screwdriver, open this up, and then twist it. Just twist on this. Hold this lever up, just like that. And then you're going to twist the little set screw. And that'll adjust them. This one will need a new wheel cylinder. That's what this is called, a wheel cylinder, because this seal keeps popping off and it's leaking from it. But that's the next person's problem, because I can't do everything. I can't do everything for them. I ain't never gonna learn. So there's that. And then we're just gonna put some gas in it, put some antifreeze in it, and we're gonna see if we can get her to idle for us. I gotta place a little rubber line up there because the fuel pump started working. I don't know how that happened, but it started working in there. There's a little rubber line in there, and it was spraying fuel. But yeah, pretty close to being able to just drive it around. I mean, the brakes work. Hopefully they'll keep working, because that happened to my Cadillac. The brakes worked. I put juice in them. Brakes decided to work. It's like, cool. I went to go pull it out of the shop one day, and lo and behold, the brakes don't work. And I just drove directly into my fence. But, you know, the fact that it's a real American steel car, it didn't give a shit. It just ate the fence for breakfast. But yeah, we'll go from there. Well, hopefully next time you see us, we'll be driving the car around. All right, here on my professional brake lathe of the tire, we're going to get rid of the lip that sits right there. Where the brake shoe doesn't sit, it gets a lip. And that's what causes these things to stick on there, is that it swells with rust. And you can actually see why this one's stuck on there is because the brake shoe had corroded into it. So what I'm going to do is the wrong thing, but it's the cheap and easy way to get this fixed without having to go spend a bunch of money. So just take your wire wheel and just eat it up, just like that. See, just like that. You clean it up, make it look all better, give it that rust scale off there, and you're going to be really light with it. You don't want to dig into it because you don't want to mess up how the brake works. So you're just going to go real light just to get the top off, and then I'll go pretty heavy on this lip right here, and then this one I've already done up. Rebuilt it. Inside, much nicer. Just got to brake clean it, make it look nice. And I'll paint these black so they don't rust anymore. Preserve them for another 50 years. But yeah, there we go. That's how I do that. All right, for the final touches, I got some flat black primer, and we're just gonna rebuild it. Look at that, brand new, all new brake hardware. Ta-da! Look at that, brand new. Went to the store and bought that shit today. Yep, I'm kind of a professional. Yep, I'm like Matilda's dad up in here, with slightly more professionalism. You know, while we're at it, we'll rebuild the frame. Boop, boop, beep, boop. Rebuilding. Yeah, look at that. This sucker's been frame off. It's been on a rotisserie. This makes the car worth at least another $20,000. You know, ain't nearly as good as barn dust, but you know what? It's good enough for government pay, as I always say. Rebuilt. Rebuilt that too. Yep, ain't never seen nothing like that, ain't ya? I am professional. Look at that. There we go. Just makes it look better in there. We will go knock out the other side as well. Alrighty, she's back on all four again. Now, granted, these tires are literally older than me and probably bordering on my parents' age. These two are tubed. That one holds air still. That one does not. Also, I'd like to beat the shit out of the Ford engineers in 1969, because this is a 7.5 liter big block. Big block Ford. 460 cubic inches, and they thought that was enough exhaust for this thing. Because not only it goes through, it has true duals, so it's each bank has its own exhaust exit all the way out the back, and it's 2.5 inch out of the collector, and then it gums down through muffler and into this. That's like not even 2 inches. What were they thinking? How the hell do you expect 460 cubic inches to breathe through a 2-inch pipe on each side? Gosh. Annoying, but it's going to make it easier to work on in here. Everything underneath the car is done that I need to do. It's going to be interesting trying to get in and out of this thing now that I'm used to it being all tall. Just got to fall down into it. Brake pedal feels great. I think it might be the best brakes in the whole yard. But I think this is the windshield wiper thing. I don't know how it works. It's like got a knob here, and then I got a knob here that kind of has some positions on it. Maybe that's off. I don't know. It just twists. I hope the clock still works. That'd be pretty cool. Now it still rotates pretty smoothly. So we'll see, I guess. It's in park. I still got to glue the little knob on for the seat down here so I can move it. But heck yeah, that much closer to driving. So that is gonna have for the third episode of the Stinkin' Lincoln, where we go do all the mechanical stuff. Third one, just me tinkering with all this stuff, brakes bleeding, engine, all that stuff. So here it is. Up a little bit of it. I didn't get this side, so it's still hideous. It's getting cold out. Gotta get inside for dinner before the old lady yells at me. But back here, you can kind of see that paint's gonna come right back around. It's gonna take a lot. I'll put in some serious work to do that. But I'll probably do a little video, like a tutorial how to buff paint stuff for that video, so I won't be part of this. But the hubcaps on there, she looked pretty good. I cleaned up the hubcaps. It needs new tires really bad, so I'll get some new tires for it. I might even splurge and buy some white walls. But, you know, here it is. This thing's pretty sweet. Somebody's gonna love it. I'm still gonna tinker with it before I sell it. Like, the brakes are still a little squishy. I'm gonna see if I can't do anything about that without replacing any major components. I'll try to bleach these seats, try to get that staining out of it. I'll work on the windows, see if I can't get those to work. I got a relay I gotta pin out and see what the heck's wrong with it. And then I need to put the not the new, but the old glove box door back on. I gotta figure out the latch on it, make it work. But yeah, I'll repair this at a later date. I might make a little video of its own on it, but who knows? We'll see what happens there. I might put out a finale video just once I've done everything to the car I want to before I sell it, and go from there. But yeah, I say it looks pretty darn good for what it started as. It's still incredibly uncomfortable, but you know, it is what it is. The oil pressure gauge works, the fuel gauge works. I don't know if it was, I know it was charging, so I don't think that works. And then the temp was even going up, so that works. The horn, bonk, bonk, it's loud. But yeah, here it is. I gotta fix this too. It's, come on. Oh no, it's broken. Shucks. I'll have to figure something out for that because it's all wobbly. But yeah, that'll be it on this one. Love it. Looks a lot better with hubcaps on it. But that'll do it for this episode of Barely Running Customs. We will catch y'all on the flip side.